ICC, Putin is welcomed here. And no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will address, finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. ICC, Putin is welcomed here. And no one is going to arrest Putin. If needs be, we'll go and fetch Putin from the airport to his meeting. He will address, finish all his meetings. We'll take him back to the airport. We're not going to be told by these hypocrites of the International Criminal Court who know the real violators of human rights, who know the murderers of this world. That former Prime Minister of Tony Blair admitted that they made a horrible mistake when it comes to Saddam Hussein. They've not been charged today. Bush is still there. They've not been charged till to date. And then Obama killed Gaddafi. And then nothing has happened. We're here today with Libya being destroyed and unable to recover because of America. We know very well that where NATO gets involved, those are terrorists. We know very well where the US says we're going in to install peace. That place will never know peace as long as America has visited that place. So we don't want ICC's hypocrisy to apply here in our country. President Putin is welcomed. We know our friends. We know the people who liberated us. We know the people who supported us. In Kutokonaval, the weapons that were used in Kutokonaval that led to the liberation of South Africa were coming from Russia. Russia supplied us with weapons in Kutokonaval. Cuba supplied us with soldiers. MK was drunk. Cuba brought the soldiers. Russia brought the armaments. We were supposed to be the ones that are being complimented and supported by these other countries who were found wanting. But let me ask a question, and this is to all South Africans. On the hindsight, which mass campaign of the ANC was ever successful from its formation? Which one? Which mass in history? I'm asking you about history. Let's take Sharpeville. That's not ANC. We all know that. Let's take 1976. The ANC actually issued a statement condemning the children of 1976. Only later to hijack the victories of 1976. Where was the ANC when they were calling to run South Africa ungovernable and uncontrollable? There was no ANC in this country in the 80s when the youth took over the streets. There was no ANC. Which mass campaign of the ANC was successful? They came and did a mass campaign on HIV and AIDS. That was one of their mass campaigns. A lot of people died because their campaign was not successful. Which mass campaign? So what Mbalula is doing is what his predecessors did, to always condemn mass actions. And they're not starting now. They're not starting now. They've always been always following activities, but they were very good with propaganda. Someone must go to the papers of Solomon Mahlangu's court. They are there. Someone must go there and go and tell us where Solomon Mahlangu says, my blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom. Tell my people that I love them, they must continue with the struggle. But he said it there in the court. In the court papers, there. That's what the ANC told us. Yeah. Go and show us that. There was a guy there in the ANC, still very good, but is no longer active, called Peter Maibu, Joel Nechtens. Those guys had a department called DIP. Its role was to do those things. Propaganda. They were very good at that. That's why everything else, if you're to tell someone that 1976 is not ANC, is going to be shocked. What are you talking about? What are you saying? Because people just automatically assume 1976 is ANC. It's not. It's not. So it has got no history of mass protest. Why was O.R. Tambo staying in Britain after the British government declared ANC a terrorist organization? If indeed it was an organization that constituted a threat to the white establishment. Okay, let's bring it closer to history. Can you imagine that terrorist that America killed, Osama bin Laden, his organization being declared a terrorist organization, and then he stays in Washington? How do you reconcile the two? That the British government says the ANC, it's a terrorist organization. Its president and his family and children stay in London and they go to schools in London. Children of Osama bin Laden going to school in Washington. How do you reconcile that? So we shouldn't be told nonsense by people who know nothing about mass mobilization. They don't have a history of mass mobilization, and that's why he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, this thing that you are asking us about, the house that was burned, where the neighbors, bombed, where the neighbors had something, boom, the house fell. You want to reduce us to Netflix now? We don't make movies. We're engaged in real struggle, not gwa. So, please, we are not part of that mess. If a person says to you as journalists, my entire family is dead, and then you go there, it's a very concerning thing. It comes out, it's a lie. Why would you still take anything from that person? Why would you do that? Such a serious statement of my entire family is dead, and then you still want to ask us about the same person. Anything that comes from that mouth has a potential of being a lie. I'm going to arrest Malema. It's a lie. My entire family is dead. It's a lie. It's a lie. So what must we do? It is the journalists themselves who should be saying this is not worth our attention, really, and leave it as it is. Once a person says my family is bombed, you don't even have to report about me. Immediately send a field reporter, go to Malema's house, check what's happening. No, we're here at Malema's house as he has tweeted that the house has been bombed, and we find out that there's nothing that was bombed, because every layman will know that if you want to damage a window, those glasses of the window, they are going to fall the opposite of where the pressure came from. So if you hit a window from outside, the glasses must fall inside the house. Where you went, you found the glasses outside. So meaning came from inside. And WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group e1 ka re gogo le yena ona le tori tja tja re una lo ke kwetja ka ra mekoti ana kwa ayo claim di insurance so ka re batakane ka o tshwana so lo ja mkhuto we it's not things that you should actually even be bothering the nation about. The nation has got serious issues to deal with. What is to be done? The struggle continues. Like I said, this is the beginning. You know us. Once we start, we don't go back. And I'm not worried about anyone who says anything because many of them come late to the party, but they eventually come. Remember when we started with the President Zuma's issue? The ANC was nowhere to be found, especially this one who's singing for supper. Didn't want to hear anything, right? But at the ultimate end, DP will tell you, Paul Mashatile went to him in Parliament and said, withdraw the motion of no confidence so that the ANC can put its own motion of no confidence. We said no. You're going to vote for our motion of no confidence. He proceeded, Paul Mashatile, to go to the press conference and says we've instructed our members to go in there and vote for the EFF's motion of no confidence. Even at that time, it started like this. Eventually, the ANC came to the party. The ANC will come to the party like the rest of South Africans. You take time to warm up, Shem. But we are very patient. We know that we are an advanced detachment of society. I just want briefly, in a very brief way, all of us ought to ask ourselves, DP, what is a shutdown? In an English definition manner, what is a shutdown? Amongst other things, it means temporary suspension of operations or business. Have you not experienced that? If you have experienced that, there was a shutdown. That's it. Pala Pala will never end, Mwanama. Pala Pala. We are going to get to the bottom of this. This is just the beginning. Na Pala Pala will never end. That thing he did to Zuma, of taking Zuma to prison, he has set a precedent. I think he's the next president. In office or out of office, will go to prison. We'll never allow that. The DP asked a critical question which you are all not asking. Let's say he declared the dollars, right? Let's say his business is above board. There is nothing wrong. He did everything right. Leave him alone. That's fine. But how do you answer the question that says the trading currency in South Africa is rands? How do you escape that one? It's by law, by the way. No one is allowed to trade using foreign currency. The president has agreed, the president has accepted that he has accepted dollars from a person who came to buy buffaloes using foreign currency. How do you pass that one? See? As a fate. As a fate. Like, even if he's not a president, leave the president things alone. If there was an individual who's found in possession of foreign currency and he's asked, where did you get the money from? And he says, I sell buffaloes. But they say, but you are not allowed to sell using foreign currency. How do we pass that one? Yes, admitted he took foreign currency. Why are you not making an issue about it? Because that is the law. He has violated the law. And he will never go past that one. He ought to have accepted that he violated the law and resigned, which he did, by the way, until Gwede and them pressurized him to stay in office against Pravin, who said, brother, you must go. Pravin, relations, no, they are no longer. That's why SARS can release a statement on that Pala person who bought the money, who bought the buffaloes. SARS was not going to do that. If the relations were still nice between Pravin and the president, SARS was not going to issue a statement that says that guy did not declare the dollars. Even if they know As long as it's not in the best interest of Pravin, SARS will not say it. Never. So by SARS saying that guy did not declare the dollars, you don't need anyone to tell you anything. In Pravin's language, connect the dots. Why would SARS do that? Because SARS is being used, by the way, as a political weapon. Political weapon. From the report that we got now, and I'm happy you're raising the issue of numbers, because people concentrate on Tshwane, and then they call Tshwane shut down. It was not Tshwane alone. There is no city in the whole of South Africa, even the smallest town, which did not have a protest. All of them. And I think the former TG led one of the biggest in Captain Park. A very few people know that there was actually a huge protest in Captain Park that was led by former TG. And the deputy president led one in from Alex. He took a very horrible decision. He marched from Alex, went to the mall, and then went to Megawatt. And I said to him, while I was relaxing, I sent a message. I said, proof of life, I'm done. And then he says, I think I'm going to arrive at 7:30. And I'm like, 7:30. So yesterday he tells me that no, he did that thing of, what do you call it? Checking the distance. No, the walking one. He checked the distance, and that thing told him 7:30. I said, at some point I was tempted to check how far is that place we are going to, but I decided no, I don't want to see it. Let me just walk there. And the DSG led in Kimberley, the SG led in eThekwini, National Chain Cape Town, the TG, was it Witbank or Witbank? Just us alone. And then the rest of our people, all of them, each one of them had a leader in the whole of South Africa, from Musina to Cape Town. Not a single town did not have protest. And then in all the towns, 1 or 2, 3, 4, 10, in total, how many is it? 307 people were arrested in the whole of South Africa. Today we are sitting at 230 that we managed successfully to release from prison. You know, the ones who are arrested in my township, this morning they went to court. There were 5 or 6 of them. And then the magistrate said to them, what is this? What type of a docket is this? Not in court. In the office of the magistrate said, no, I can't listen to this. And then they left. So, they slept inside police holding cells. How do we get recourse for them? Where people just get arrested for doing nothing. Yoli, our member of parliament, they are done, she's walking like there's no problem. They identify her and arrest her and release her the same night. What trauma does it do to that female comrade who was just going to be part of a peaceful protest and then walking away to their respective places? So Yoli is a member of the Central Command team and a member of parliament who was leading in Pechefston in KZN, just to demonstrate to you who was where. There is no smallest town that did not have a protest. And we said to our people, whether you're 5, whether you're 2, just stand there and raise your voice and let it be heard. And we are happy that we are accounting for not less than 150,000 participants in this campaign. That we could account for, that we could transport from our own transport, because what we said was the number that you are giving us as part of the report must speak to the mode of transport you used, its capacity, and all of that. And the proof of payments for such transport then speak to each other to demonstrate how many can we account for. So we transported 150,000 of them. We're not accounting for those who came on their own without being transported by the EFF. Because in Tshwane, when we walked, we went to Sunnyside. People were coming out of their flats and apartments, joining the march in their numbers. We are very grateful for that, and we are very humbled by what the masses of our people have really done on that day. Their names will go down in history as people who overcome the terror and intimidation of the state and said, we don't care, we're dead already. You can kill us officially. We're going to raise our voices and we're going to raise our concerns about the president and the load shedding. We're fighting to win for elections. Numbers don't lie. That's why the DA is extremely threatened by the EFF, because they know that the party of voice, the reasonable party, the party of voice, the voice of the voiceless masses, is the EFF. The rejected, the dejected masses of our people is the EFF. It goes without saying. Everybody now says we've now found an alternative. I received an email this morning from a staunch member who said, of the ANC, who said, I left the ANC. I didn't join any other political party because I had given up on these political parties. But what happened on the 20th made me realize that there is now a party to vote for. I've not yet decided to join, but I now know which party to vote for. This is what the EFF has done. Reawaken those who are suffering from political apathy. Those who are saying we can't find a C alternative are today saying this is the home of the homeless people of South Africa, of the unemployed graduate, of the ill-treated black African professionals in the financial institutions, particularly in the banks, the professionals who are paid less than their white colleagues, yet performing the same duties. So we are very happy that the people of South Africa are beginning to say this is where we're going, and that's where we want them, because that is the right direction. Whether there will be a coalition or not, no one goes into a marathon to become number two. I've never heard Caster Semenya Arbuti Reasipila Sokiti Magatale well number two. Every time she leaves home, I know her personally. I know, even when I've never run any marathon, but I know the world champion Caster Semenya. That's my every day. Or Resailo Chia medal wa gold Reabua. We are going to make you proud. South Africa will make you proud in 2024 by voting for the EFF, because it's the only